Hey everybody. Today I'm working on a new project. Actually, I've been working on this one a little bit off and on for a while. Um, this is a 1981 Cadillac V8 6.4, the one that multiple displacement. So it's a 6-liter 368 cube Cadillac engine with digital fuel injection that turns off cylinders. It's the first of the infamous 684s that General Motors worked on. And it's not running right, and belongs to my uncle. And so and some of you know, I've been working to help him out because he's elderly and has health issues. But he's had this Cadillac for a long time, and it wouldn't run right. And he's been having difficulty finding people who could do anything to work on it. It's been a problem. So at this stage, first of all, it had sat about 5 years, so I've drained the gas, siphoned the gas, and got rid of it because it was it would run, but it was bad. So then, after doing that, I got about, I don't know, eight or 9 gallons of wreck fuel with stabilizer and a dose of fuel injector cleaner. And I've had it in there and running. And you can take it around the block, but it's really hard to get it around the block because it wants to stall. It's currently setting a code 30 just about every time. Code 30 for this car is related to the fuel, it's related to the throttle position sensor. And so I've got some things that my intent is to run the diagnostic on the motor that, as opposed to having an IAC like you have on the Camaros in the later fuel injected, this one has a motor, external motor that's sort of like a throttle kicker that's supposed to set the idle speed. And so something's not working right because it wants to stall all the time. In addition, it seems to be low on power throttle response. Once you get it going, it seems to go. But when you tip in, things aren't quite right. So this is probably going to be a multiple month project because I only get a few minutes to work on it here and there. And so this time, my intent is I'm going to go in and show you how the diagnostics work because it all goes through the air conditioning system on this car, through the HVAC controller. It's too old for my scan tool to work, 1981. I don't think it even has a standard ALDL port. It's got a different kind of a connector. So you need a special tool. Well, Cadillac, to their credit, has a lot of diagnostics. I bought a service manual, so we're going to kind of go through the service manual and see where we can go with it. So here goes. Okay, well, here I'm going to get started on the diagnostics and just try to walk through a couple of things. My light in here isn't really good, but so bear with me a little. But first thing you got to do is turn the ignition on. You can hear the fuel pump come up. And so what they want you to do is press the off and warmer buttons here on the display. So if you press off, and then warmer is this one up here in the corner. And then you hold them down until you get the display. So what you got first was a code 88, and that really isn't a code. 88 just checks the display to make sure all the segments in the display are working for you. That turns on, 88 turns on all the segments. Then 70 says the system is ready to do tests. And if you got codes, this is what the whole list looks like of codes. And in the past, what I've had is a code 30, which is idle speed control circuit. And I had a 16 along with it, which was generator voltage out of range. And I think that really came because the engine was running so slow it stalled. That doesn't seem like it resets itself. So There is a procedure for clearing the trouble codes by pushing off and high until 00 appears. And then to get out of diagnostic mode, it says push any of the function keys in the air conditioning system, the auto, econ, or turn the ignition off for 10 seconds. I've had the battery disconnected because I've been away for a couple of months, not had a chance to work on this. So here I am back. So the codes are gone at the moment. Now, first of all, they have a set of switch tests that will test all. You can see the list here to walk through from system ready as a 70 to make sure that all the switches are working correctly. So I'm going to try to go through that procedure. All right, so we're going to try this again from a 70. So this one is brake and release, goes to 71. Brake and release again goes to 72. Throttle to the floor and release goes to 73. Then shift to drive and back to neutral, and it goes to 74. Then to reverse, and then to park, and you get 75. Then with 75, turn cruise on, which gets 76. Now we're going to press the button here for the set button. We get 77. And then the resume Excel button, which gets me 78. Then the average button, which gets me 79. And the reset button, which gets me 80. And then the rear defroster, which gets me 77. I don't know what that means. Oh, it didn't like my cruise resume. I didn't get that one in fast enough. Alrighty. So let me hit off and high. And that's supposed to clear them. Back to 00. Back to 70. Cool. Now let me get lined up and go through the sequence a second time. All right. We're setting on system ready at a 70. And so then let's click through the tests here. Brake. Brake off. Brake. Brake off. Throttle to the floor. Throttle back. Shift into drive. Then to neutral. Then to reverse. Then to park. Cruise control to on. And off. So I get a 76. With the cruise on, I should do a set. Come on. Resume Excel, got a 78. Then the average button, 79. This one's reset, it gets me an 80. Getting the back one, should be rear defrost. And I'm done. It still doesn't like my 75. All right, I'm set at 70. It's ready to go. All right, let's see if we can let her rip here, so to speak. Okay, brake on, brake off. Brake on, brake off. Throttle to the floor, throttle released. Drive to neutral. Reverse to park. When you do that, you got to make sure the parking brake's on or your wheels are blocked. Cruise control on, off, on, set, resume, or I'm sorry, set, resume, and then average, then reset, and then rear defroster. And rear defroster is supposed to test the air conditioning clutch, but it's cold and I don't think it's probably right. So, okay, and it's still giving me a 75. There's something that it doesn't like in the cruise control off and on, because it keeps saying that that's a problem. So something for me to check out later. I don't need cruise right now, but everything else is working. All right, well, I went through that about 5 times till I got the routine down. And now all the switches pass except the one on the air conditioning compressor. And frankly, when I looked under hood, I think the compressor is disconnected. The air conditioning's not working. So now I got all the switches working. I'm going to try to move over and fire the engine up. And there's a Diagnostic series that you can run and see all the parameters on the engine while it's running. And I'm going to see what I can get out of that. So these are all the parameters I can get off the engine display. TPS, map, barrel, coolant, and so forth, pulse width. I mean, it's basically all the good stuff that you can get off the scan tool. It's 11 parameters, but hey, that's a whole lot better than others. So to get to that, you have to have this set up here so that it's sitting at 70 with the thing fired up. And right now I'm going to see if I can just go through it. I mean, it's sitting here not doing anything. So in order to do that, you have to turn the cruise switch on and off. And so then you get 90. And once you get 90, then you can go through to advance it. You press the instant average button on the miles per gallon, and it'll click on through. And off and high buttons. If you push off and high simultaneously, it'll take you back to the beginning. So, I mean, like I say, the engine is off. Let me see what we can do here. So 90, and if I advance it, well, like 01, 02, darn it. Let me take this back. I went too far, too fast. So we hit off and high. We go back to 70. I'm going to turn the cruise switch on. Cruise switch off. Now I get 90. Now we're sitting here, engine's not running, so I'm going to get data for being dead. So 1 says 9. It says 9 degrees. TPS is 9 degrees. And my foot is off the throttle, so that suggests the throttle's cracked open. Then number 2, if I advance it, come on. There. It's a little tricky. 2 is 81. 81 kPa is the map. If I go to 3, 82 is the barometric pressure in kPa. And the two of them are really close. That's a good sign. Coolant temperature is number 4. Come on. Wait for it to switch. Come on. It's being a little balky. There we go. 4, it says 22 degrees C. The air temperature on the manifold is 19, so the two should be really close. They're close. That's number 5. Number 6 is pulse width on the injectors. And it looks like to switch it, you want to switch it when it's on the number, on the value right there. And it goes to 6. So the pulse width is 0. That makes sense. It's not doing anything. The O2 sensor. Come on. Number 7 is the O2 sensor. And it's in, says it's in volts. Now, I'm sure it's not 43 volts, maybe 0.43 volts. And 8 is spark advance. It says it doesn't have any. Nine is how many key cycles we've had, and it says 3. Well, it's about right since I've had the battery disconnected. The next one is number 10 is open loop, closed loop. And 0 would be open, 1 would be closed. That makes sense. And then finally, battery voltage is 11. And it's supposed to show, it says value would be x dot x. Well, obviously it has battery voltage. It says will not display the tens digit. Okay. Decimal point has to be assumed. Well, let's see if we can get this lit up here. Oh, shoot. Well, maybe the battery voltage is 0. And go check the connection at the battery. All right. Let's see if she'll start. Go turn it, cruise switch. Okay, so I'm at 8. Let's just take a number 2. It says 32 is the map. $82 is the barometric pressure. That held. Just kind of click through here. 37 is the coolant temperature. 21 is the manifold air temp. Injector pulse width is 21 milliseconds. O2 sensor says 6. Come on, one more. 8 is spark advance is 31 degrees. No key cycles because I just started it up. Open loop, closed loop, it's still open. 11 is the battery voltage, and it says 37. That's okay, the tens digit is gone, so it's given me 13.6, 13.7 charging voltage. Much better than what I had before. My battery terminal was loose. The battery's been disconnected, and when I connected it, I didn't get it connected well. So, and now I'm back with a check engine light, which I'm going to bet is my code 30 when I get done here. So this part's working. I'm going to let this warm up and see if it goes into a closed loop at all. Oh, 95 is the next set of tests. All right, so I'm still sitting at 8% throttle. 27, so my map is consistent. I'm trying to click through. Now they tell me is that if you hit the reset button, you'll go backwards. So you can cycle back and forth on these guys. Coolant's getting warmed up. What I would like to get to is seven is the O2 sensor. Well, the O2 sensor is getting active, so I'm sort of betting. Let's see if I can get to 8. Spark advance is 43 degrees. That's a bunch. Ten is what I want, which is open loop, closed loop. Okay, so it's running in closed loop. So the fuel system is doing what it should do. And again, if I push the reset button, I should be able to go backwards and get different values. All right, I want to do the output cycling test with the engine off. I don't need to do the cylinder select test, at least not at the moment. So the book has several choices for how you can get into this test mode. And right now I'm in diagnostics at the 70 at the ready mode. So it says that if I'm there, I ought to be able to push the instant average button and advance it to 95, which it did. So now, once I've got that, looks like from here I should be able to just hit the throttle all the way down and back, and then she'll go into 96, and then I have 2 minutes to go watch the things cycle. So in particular, you can hear the actuators are all going. They're supposed to go on for 3 seconds and off for 3 seconds. And so this is the throttle kicker. And it ain't kicking. You know, if I take I can feel it. It's trying to actuate. Go. So that's the basic way you run tests on this old 684 system. And you know, that's the switch test, and that's I'll call it the scan tool tests of, you know, throttle position and all the other basic engine parameters that you can watch live while it's running. I know I got a code 30, so I'm going to need to dig into that and run the test on that.